We're in Palma, Mallorca. Yeah.
When most people think of Mallorca, they picture turquoise waters, hidden coves, luxury yachts, and long days on Mediterranean beaches. And while all of that certainly exists, there's another side to the island that often surprises visitors. To many, Palma is simply the place where their cruise ships dock and they begin their vacations. But spend time like we did wandering its streets, learning about its history and culture, viewing its unique architecture, and visiting La Seu, Palma's beautiful and enormous cathedral. And you'll realize Palma isn't just the gateway to Mallorca, it's the heart of it. In this video, we'll explore Palma's history, visit its key sites including La Seu and the one-of-a-kind Castell de Bellver, and take you on a bonus tour of one of the most unique hotels we've ever stayed in. Welcome to Wandering with Rick and Rachel. Come explore with us.
We're a director and an actor who've spent our lives telling stories on stage. Now we're chasing new ones out in the world, one unscripted moment at a time.
This time in Palma de Mallorca, Spain.
The largest of Spain's Balearic Islands, Mallorca sits about 120 miles east of the Spanish mainland in the Mediterranean Sea. Today, roughly 1 million people call the island home, with nearly half of them living right here in Palma. Yet every year, the island welcomes between 15 to 19 million visitors, depending on the season. That's an astonishing number when you consider the island is only about 60 miles long. And somehow, despite these crowds, Palma still manages to feel authentic.
We currently live in Valencia, Spain, and could take either a 45-minute flight or an 8-hour ferry. Since we were traveling light, we chose to fly, and found the trip from the Palma airport to the city center incredibly easy. Buses travel approximately every 15 minutes, take about 20 minutes to arrive in the city center, and only cost €3 if you pay by tapping your bank card on board. We began our exploration of Palma by doing one of our favorite activities to get oriented, taking a walking tour with a knowledgeable local guide. Our walking tour began here in one of the main plazas of Palma. This is Plaza de España, and it is also directly across the street from the main bus station, the Estacio. There's a book fair going on this week, and in Plaza España, there are a number of booksellers that have set up with stalls. And here in the plaza, there's a performance for kids. Long before Instagram made Mallorca famous, civilizations had already discovered its strategic location. The Romans arrived over 2,000 years ago and established a settlement here around 123 BC. They recognized what everyone since has also realized. Whoever controls Mallorca controls an important crossroads of Mediterranean trade. After the fall of Rome came centuries of change. The island was ruled by the Byzantines before becoming part of the Islamic world, beginning in the 10th century. During those Moorish centuries, Mallorca flourished. Engineers developed sophisticated irrigation systems that transformed architecture, and many of the winding streets you walk through today still follow the medieval layout established during that period. Then, in 1229, King James I of Aragon conquered the island, bringing Mallorca into the Christian kingdoms. That conquest forever changed the city's skyline.
Standing above nearly every view of Palma is its most recognizable landmark, La Seu, Catalan for the bishop's seat. Formerly known as the Cathedral of Santa Maria of Palma, it isn't simply beautiful, it's enormous. Construction began shortly after the Christian conquest in the 13th century and continued for nearly 400 years. Its Gothic walls rise dramatically from the waterfront, making it one of the tallest Gothic cathedrals in Europe.
Next to the cathedral is the Royal Palace. Unfortunately, when we were there, it was closed for renovation. It's one of Palma's most important sites, and now we have more reason to return. Also, just behind the cathedral lies Palma's Old Town, and this is where it's worth putting away the map. Narrow alleyways twist between honey-colored stone buildings. Tiny courtyards hide behind massive wooden doors. Small cafes spill onto quiet squares where locals gather for coffee instead of rushing from one tourist attraction to the next. One moment, you're walking beneath medieval walls. The next, you're standing in front of an elegant palace, and then suddenly you discover a centuries-old church tucked into a side street that wasn't on your itinerary at all. Palma rewards curiosity. It's one of those cities where getting lost is often the best part of the experience.
One thing that stood out to us while walking through Palma is how many different architectural styles exist side by side. Here, you'll also discover beautiful examples of Modernisme, Spain's version of Art Nouveau. Around the early 1900s, architects embraced flowing lines, decorative ironwork, colorful glass, and organic forms inspired by nature. Influenced by Catalan architects like Antoni Gaudí, their curved balconies and decorative facades show how Palma continued reinventing itself. It's a city where every few blocks feel like you're walking into another chapter of history.
Mallorca is renowned for its pastries. A familiar sight at the airport is to see travelers carefully carrying stacks of pastry boxes onto their flights. The island's most famous treat is the ensaïmada, a light, spiral-shaped pastry that's often dusted with powdered sugar. Two of the most beloved places to experience these local specialties are Patisseria Court, right in the heart of Palma, and Forn del Teatre, a historic bakery that has been serving traditional Mallorcan pastries for generations. Whether you're stopping in for a morning coffee or picking up a box before heading to the airport, both bakeries offer a memorable taste of Mallorca.
More than 1,000 years old, the olive tree.
Did he just say the olive trees are more than 1,000 years old?
That one, yes. You could tell.
The 1,000-year-old olive tree. Very gnarly. What are these?
These are the biggest puppets I've ever seen.
So this was a Moorish building from the 10th century, and then it went through many uses, ultimately landed in the hands of the Inquisition, and that's when they added those two angels and the lamb with the sword.
No walk is complete without taking in Palma's waterfront. Its marina stretches for miles, lined with everything from modest sailboats to some of the largest super yachts in the Mediterranean.
So this morning we moved from our hotel, which was down in the center of La Palma, now to a hotel overlooking the marina. I think you can see it up in the distance, Catalonia Majorica. It's at the top of a hill. They have this funicular where you go from the terrace of the hotel where the pool is straight down here to the street level. And we're walking now along the boardwalk, and on this side of us you can see just yachts as far as the eye can see. And also in this direction you have about 4 or 5 very large cruise ships. Palma has these great new bike paths that go all along the marina. So we're walking now along the rest of the boardwalk up to the cathedral, which you can see just through these palm trees between the masts of all the sailing ships that are in that direction.
You get everything from these beautiful wooden sailing boats to these massive yachts in this marina. The Mediterranean. We're right in front of the cathedral. We're about to go in. There's this amazing man-made sort of a lake almost, a lagoon that comes in, and that part of the reason that was built, we were told, is that the ocean used to come all the way up to these walls. And now we're going to go into this massive cathedral and see what's there. And we bought our tickets online, so we're going to go into the online entrance and not go stand online outside. And let's go.
The interior of this cathedral is really, really beautiful. The stained glass windows are really extraordinarily colorful, more so than we've seen in many European cathedrals. But the highlight of this cathedral is the rose window, which is supposedly the largest Gothic stained glass window in the world. Known as the Gothic Eye, it measures nearly 40 feet across and is made from more than 1,200 pieces of glass that flood the cathedral with brilliant colors. Rising nearly 145 feet high, Lisieux is also one of the tallest Gothic cathedrals in Europe, creating a breathtaking sense of scale both inside and out.
This is where you access the terrace, which I think is basically the roof. We chose not to do that because of my fear of all the stairs and the scary places. It's how many hundreds of steps?
230 steps?
Yeah, they said steep.
Yeah.
Again, going up is fine, but you got to come back down. So We're not going to do it, but if anybody else does it, send pictures and let us know what you
And we'll
thought
just
of
enjoy
it.
this level.
Yeah, we're going to totally enjoy this level. There's a lot to see.
A remarkable aspect of this medieval cathedral is that it has continued evolving well into modern times. In the early 1900s, Gaudí, the renowned architect of La Sagrada Familia Basilica in Barcelona, was invited to reimagine the cathedral's interior. He relocated the choir stalls to open up the central nave, designed elegant wrought iron furnishings and candelabras, and enhanced the natural lighting to make the vast interior feel brighter and more alive.
Nearly a century later, Mallorcan artist Miquel Barceló added a striking contemporary touch with his monumental ceramic installation in the Chapel of the Blessed Sacrament. Inspired by the biblical miracle of the loaves and the fishes, the textured clay walls depict vibrant marine life, fish, and swirling waves, a fitting tribute to Mallorca's deep connection with the Mediterranean. And here are the fish that you could see, and as we come around, that's a figure of Christ. There are the loaves of bread as we come around, and there are some fruit over there. What's fascinating, though, is that as you go up, these windows in person are really quite ominous. They're black and gray, and it looks like there's, as Rachel said, something terrible happening on the other side. Together, Gaudí's thoughtful restoration and Barceló's bold modern artwork demonstrate that Lisieux is a living cathedral where history isn't frozen in time, it's still being written.
Good morning. We are at Castell de Bellver. We're here just as it's opened, about 10 a.m.
Your hat's flying.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait to go in, though, and explore this. It was built 1300s, about 1300 to 1311, and it's obviously a Gothic castle, and it's incredibly unique because it is a round castle, one of the few in Europe, and I think the only one in Spain. Isn't it exquisite? Bellver maybe is good view. Ber is to see.
Bellver, sure.
Ber is to
Beautiful
see.
view.
But we could be wrong because we make stuff up sometimes because it just sounds good to us. So we'll figure it out and be more accurate.
Rachel was right. Bellver does mean beautiful view in Old Catalan, and it's easy to see why when you're on this hilltop. Built for King James II of Mallorca, its unique round design was centuries ahead of its time, with 3 circular towers surrounding a central keep connected by an arched bridge.
Look at these cool doors. Wow. It's the biggest latch. I'm probably not supposed to do that, but I did it.
Well, it's very hard for you to not touch things when you see them.
But it doesn't say don't touch. And I'm trying to be very
So that's
respectful.
good, yeah.
I would like to, because I want to do much more, just open it all the way up. But resist those impulses, right? Whoa. Rick, we're on top of a castle.
We are on top of the castle, and look at the bay.
Wow. Wow, look, airplane coming into the airport. We got ships, large and small, and a city with a cathedral and tons of people. And what a glorious morning. Oh my goodness.
I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ferries in port right now. There may even have been more earlier in the day. That's a lot of people every day coming and going to the island.
Depending on where you are in the city of Palma, it's very obvious. Yeah. There are a lot of people coming and going.
Yeah.
Here at Castell de Bellver, there are no city buses that come up here, but you can get, if you have tickets for the hop-on, hop-off bus, that is the way you're going to get here by bus if you're staying in the city. Otherwise, you have a cab ride or a very intense walk up a hill and down a hill.
Good exercise.
We're on top of a castle, a Gothic castle. It's round. I have never seen anything like this. It is one of the more unique places we've been able to explore. Look at the mountains in the background. We've got the ocean, we got the bay, we got the castle, we got the history, we have the mountains. These are not scary stairs. but I'm still being careful. But not a scary stairway at all. Yay! Yay, she survived. When you come to the Castell, you're not only going to learn about the history of the Castell itself, when it was built, who it was built for, who lived here, who conquered who did what. There are several museums in here, and they're certainly well worth your time to walk through. So while we're here in the castle, which was built in the 1300s, and the city goes back even before that to Islamic culture. Also, it says the founding of Palma can be traced back to a particular date, the year 123 BC, when the islands became part of the Roman Empire.
The castle hosts different art expositions, and right now they have one on how everyday life on the island of Mallorca inspired Frédéric Chopin and Georges Sand. Chopin.
Georges Sand. The Castell, when it was no longer a royal residence, became a prison. Specifically during two different time periods. During the Peninsular War with the French, became a prison, and then during the Civil War. It's hard to find any information about the prisoners in that period. There's one little plaque in the back. There may be more inside, we just didn't see it. So come and just explore this fantastic structure. Do you hear that?
Yep,
There's a ship leaving.
One of the ferries is leaving the harbor, I think.
And we're leaving the harbor.
The walk down from the castle is beautiful. A lot of it is shaded, nice stone stairs, and you just keep seeing the view of the marina out in front of you.
We stayed several nights at the Casa Delmonte. This 16th century manor house has been in the hands of the Delmonte family for nearly 100 years. For 3 generations, the Delmontes have been antique dealers who have curated a one-of-a-kind interior that is truly spectacular. So what's amazing about this and the architecture of this area and how smart they are? And we're way back in the day, no air conditioning, but if you look up there, you've got the sky and you've got that big thing that's open, and this room just stays cool.
They have an extraordinary collection of antique furniture, artwork, statuary. Staying in this hotel, it feels a bit like you're staying in a museum or a bit like you're staying in a palace. Most of the common spaces are decorated in this classic Spanish style. Before we head up to our floor, we're going to take a little visit out to the garden. They have a really, really lovely honors bar system here, and with a fully stocked pantry.
Pantry?
And then, I called it a pantry.
That's your pantry, your idea of a pantry.
And then, as you go outside, they have this just really beautiful back courtyard with seating areas at night. There are candles. This is the entryway to our hallway going to our room. This is outside our door. And here's our room.
If you're looking on their website to see what sort of rooms they have available, so this is the deluxe double, and there are bigger, more elaborate rooms.
That's true, there are.
People often come to Mallorca searching for beaches and island resorts. But for us, after spending several days wandering Palma's streets and exploring its fascinating history and culture, we discovered that Palma needs more than a day trip to fully appreciate its riches.
Because beneath the sunshine, the yachts, and the postcard views lies a place shaped by thousands of years of history. A city that has welcomed traders, conquerors, artists, sailors, pilgrims, and now millions of travelers from around the world, including us. Be sure to stay with us to view parts 2 and 3 of our Mallorcan adventure as we visit the beautiful hilltop town of Valldemossa, explore the northern part of the island while enjoying its exceptional beaches, and spend a day sailing in the Mediterranean. And if you want to visit more of Europe's fascinating places with us, please like and subscribe below.